up till I'm on top.
Yo,
yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers.
What up? What up? What up? Welcome in here to Pregaming on the Sports Money Network. I'm your boy, Mikey Money, and we're here to talk about sports betting action for Thursday, March the 12th. Can we go and crush the NHL? Can college basketball be an elusive, feisty little mistress? Can player props stay hot? What do we got in the NBA? And then, of course, we'll wrap her up with the sharp, respected betting report. Full disclosure. Internet was down today. Everybody relax. It was an infrastructure improvement. And it's been working really great since they put it back together. But that means that my time of preparation's a little light. So it's only right that I share with you guys how we're going to fight these bookies tonight. Oh, I didn't even write that down. But it's going to be a fun one. Look, we came off a good night last night. And that's all we can ask for is to continue to stack spots here. I got to tell you, I'm struggling with these unders. I lost 2 games today by under a hook on meaningless free throw spots at the end. And one of them was 100-1 parlay. So, I'm a little disappointed. I'm trying to find my way after it. But, look, you know what? Yesterday we got after it. We had a pretty good day in college there. We got that Northwestern plus 6.5. I told you guys. Northwestern, Indiana. They beat them boys time and again. I wish I gave you the money line. It was a 13-point winner, but the plus 6.5 cashed. Texas loses outright to Missouri, and then Missouri can't get the job done today. So I feel like I lost twice on that single spot. Then we rolled on and Boise State blew it at the end as well. Boise State loses outright to San Jose State. You know what's messed up is it kind of seems to be one of those situations where it's like dogs are barking, man. Look at the NHL. We lose the favorite, the big favorite. We took it. Why? Let's take it in regulation. Let's get the juice down. It's the Ottawa Senators. They lost. But the Flyers won. I told you that was a coin flippy spot. The Flyers busted them up. When in doubt, dog it out. And points-wise, Paolo Banchero does not get his double-double. He had his points. I think he had 8 rebounds and 7 assists, or maybe flip that, reverse it. It just wasn't enough. And so we did not cash our double-double. But we did get the Timmy Stützle power play point at plus 190. What a thing of beauty that was, man. We read that thing like a book. At plus 190 is good money. So we went 1-1 again in the props here. But if you notice the consistency, this is why I wanted to bring this prop, this tool to the table, because, even in 500 days, we're still gaining a unit. We're still gaining ground on the bookies with 1-1s, and we're just waiting for that elusive 2-0, right? And then that'll be like a 4 or 5 unit popper. So, look, 1-1 plus, I guess it was 0.9 units, but a couple more rebounds from Banchero, and we would have been talking about a 4-unit day. So, NBA wise, we cashed the Magic plus 4, and we got the Knicks minus 14. So we had a little mini sweep in the NBA. What do you say? We get to work here, you guys. I know a couple minutes late, so I appreciate everybody bearing with me. Bad news, I only have one graphic here today. No yellow marks indicating where we're at, but we're still going to talk sports. Still going to give you guys the player prop tools. I got a 1,400 player double-double for you in the NBA. I've got something in the NHL. I forgot what it was. I'll pull the notes up here when we run the like button video. But man, we're going to go Sharks and Bruins, Ducks and Leafs, Oilers and Stars. And I shared with you the sharp betting formula the other day with the NHL 2 nights ago. If you missed it, I recapped it yesterday. We're sort of back live again today. Sort of, because some of these lines have moved. Now, I will give you a NHL plus money player prop. I will give you that monster plus money. You know what? You want to go 3 player props in the NHL tonight? And then the big 1,400 in the NBA? You want to go 4 big plus money player props tonight and see if we can cash 2? If we go 2 and 2, we're going to be up like 10 units. What do you guys say? You want to try that? Let's see what we can do about that. Then we're going to move over to college basketball. We'll talk about that pesky little Northwestern Purdue squad again. We'll talk Florida State, Duke, Florida Atlantic, and N.Texas. We'll get to the props. We'll cover the Nuggets and the Spurs in I believe it's 20-0 trend. And then we got like a half a dozen 15-0 trends here in that Celtics Thunders game. Before I bring you the sharp respect betting report. Now, bear with me. I told you my technology, my internet, we're down today. All of them. So I did not get a full chance to look at the sharp respected betting report here, but last night, let's take a look here in the NBA. I apologize again. I guess, kind of subscribe to a rule of thumb that says, don't say you're sorry unless you really mean it here. It's not my fault that we're fixing the internet. Although I did make the phone call that said, come and fix this fucking internet. So I guess it's my fault. Anyhow, regardless, I apologize for not having this ready, but the Nuggets minus 6.5. I mean, look, they won by 36. That covered no problemo. And the Hornets and Kings got to 226. We had 224.5 as the sharp respected betting report under. So they went 1-1 again. And it's a new tool that's being introduced. So it's important that we do take a minute to talk about it. There was nothing in the NHL yesterday because, well, there were only 2 games, but I can't imagine anybody was sharper than we were when it came down to it. And in college hoops, they had 3 plays yesterday in college hoops. One of them had already started, so we weren't able to get there, but Florida State beat up Cal. That was the side. That was the lone play on the side. It cashed again. So the sharp respected bettors were feeling good about their side. They had the Texas-Mississippi game going under 145.5. It got to 142. So they cashed on the under. They had an earlier game in Prairie View, Bethune-Cookman, and they had the under 147.5 on the sharp respected betting report there. And that went under too. So they swept the board in college basketball. Do you see why I'm trying to share this information with you guys? First of all, I will never buy a brand new tool without beta testing it first and sharing it with you guys, right? That's just not, it's almost unethical, right? Oh, I got this new shiny penny. Let's go see if it can bounce, right? I mean, that's not going to work, but I track it behind the scenes for you guys. And when I do see that there's established a pattern of victory or at least profit, then I want to share it with you guys. So I'm excited about the sharp respected betting report tonight. I'm excited about the player prop tools we have tonight. I'm excited about the card we have tonight. All I ask you guys to do in turn is take a second and smash that thumbs up button. It helps the community here continue to grow, continue to blossom. And we want to continue to see our bankrolls flourish. So if you could kindly help me, help us bring in new eyeballs, bring in other sports bettors that share that common goal of beating the bookies, you can hit that thumbs up button and we can get to work. There we go. 9:35, we'll call it. We'll get into the San Jose Boston Bruin game. I don't know. Here's the deal. Boston's got one heck of a home winning streak. What have they won? Like 15 straight at home. Got to respect them. Got to respect the guy. Anyways, Jeremy Swayman is going to get the start. So not their go-to. He has been outstanding. I don't know. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. He's 25-13-3 on the season. So they're catching wins behind this guy. He does have a 276 goals against average. Needledick, as they call him in some tribes, will start on the other side of things here. 13-0 is Boston at home since December. Got to recognize it. Got to respect it. And look, the Sharks just got, it's an interesting spot for the Sharks because if you remember, the sharp respected bettors were firing away on San Jose against Buffalo. Now, I don't need to tell you, I like the Capitals tonight against the Sabres. Couple thoughts, and it ties back to this game. Double digits are hard as fuck, right? It's always one of those, whoa, when you hear a team has won 10 in a row or 11 in a row or 12 in a row. Like, look, those teams are due to lose. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. And so when you look at this situation with the Sabres and the Capitals were in the look-ahead spot. They played the Flyers. The Flyers busted them up 4-1. Because they were looking ahead to this Buffalo spot, who's now won double digits, right? The Sharps were fading them last time. What do you think? But as it relates to this game here with the Sharks, the away dog in the last couple of seasons has found themselves to be a 49% win rate. So it goes back to the bigger conversation. Some of the stuff's kind of that broader picture, the bigger picture, right? The forest for the trees, if you will. And at 500, I told you, Sharps will just buy prices because sometimes they look at them and say, you know what, this price tag is too good to pass up. Now, I would argue this. With the Bruins being as red hot as they are, why are they not a $2 favorite? And then I could justify it and say the Bruins is a $2 favorite. They've won 13 games at home since December. When they play sub 500 teams on losing streaks, they busted them up 10 straight times. So for all intent and purpose, this number is actually short. And I believe if we look back at our sharp betting strategy from the other night, call it that, I guess, right? We're talking strategy here sometimes. It's not just, it's art and science, but you have to put that together with the experience to come up with a strategy. I think you got to bet the San Jose Sharks team, not to mention the fact that we don't spend a lot of time looking at this, but a plus 165's moved to plus 143. Boston Bruins were $2 favorites. It's come down to $1.56. I think the Sharks are ready to pop in this game. And listen, Macklem Celebrini, one of the better goddamn players in talent, coming off the pop here, visiting teams, regular season, that closed between a 115 and a 185. So outside of that $2 range. This is where I talk about the strategy. And you can't just, if you picked, we did 3 games the other night. We won, what was it, 4 units on 3 games? We went 2-1, something like that. The number doesn't look great. It's 760 and 170. I'm sorry, 760 and 1,070. 760 wins, 100,070 losses. It's only a 42% win rate. But you've made 87 units of profit because you're jumping in on these ugly spots. And I'll take it tonight, a midweek game here with the San Jose Sharks. And again, I think they do have a little bit of a, can you call it a bounce back? I mean, they've lost 3 straight, but the fact that money's coming in on these guys does have me saying, let's go San Jose Sharks here. I like Macklem Celebrini to score a goal as well. It's not going to be official player prop, but what the fuck? They're not winning if he's not scoring. So you got to give it some recognition as we move on to game number 2. Peter Gracia says Bruins puck line. I got you, Peter. We all fall victim to that. Goddamn autocorrect. Shout out to all you guys in the chat. Drew Skillosa. What's up, my dude? First commenter as well for our guy, Drew. Drew, there's another feather in your cap, my friend. It's so good to have you here, my dude. Appreciate you stopping in. Stop Geo Engineering. Robert McCormick says, what up, Mikey in chat? Hope you're all having a good day. Andre, our Korea Live dogs tomorrow. 2 weeks away from the MLB. I'm going to tell you guys this. My guy Shark texted me today, getting me jacked up about it. He said, listen, in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking baseball every single fucking day. So we're going to bring you guys a live show. It's going to change the way this show unfolds as well. I don't think so. Andre. Man, look at this quarterfinal. Korea, Dominican Republic, then the U.S. and Canada. I think Venezuela kicks the piss out of Japan, and I think Puerto Rico beats up Italy as well. So those are some Saturday plays here, but for Friday, I don't know. Is Dominican Republic too chocolate? I didn't even see what the run line was, my dude. So I want to give you some honest feedback there, but maybe the under. Maybe the under makes sense to me. Robert McCormick says they just keep following. I'm an under player, but have been on mostly sides. Yeah, dude. I was pissed this morning. Downright upset. I'm like, he's fucking ticky. 1 second left for Virginia. Covering. They're not winning. The other side, that is. And they still followed them with 1 second left. It's like, dude, just go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Jay Maine's in the house. 9 Legacy's got the paid in full parlay of the day for you guys. He's got Oklahoma, Florida Atlantic, North Carolina, Cal State Fullerton, all on the spread. And his best bets, he likes the Wizards plus 15.5, the Hawks, and the Nets full game over 126.5. That team total? Is that a team total? Is the question for our guy. 226.5. I see what he says. I see what he's saying. So I'll tell you guys, Blake M's checking in with us. He says, good luck to everyone tonight. Blake, appreciate you. I know you're busy, my dude, so you jumping into the comments early means a ton to me, my friend. So thank you for doing that. Let's move on. The Ducks and the Leafs. So, look, I've kind of played out some of these scripts for you guys, and, you know, it's going to take an act of Congress for me to change gears. Do I think Toronto's checked out? No. You know, I've been idling around. Juice Goals says, hey, Mikey from Henderson. What up, Drew? Robert McCormick says, Florida State plus 17.5. Here's the strategy that I've been thinking. Not strategy, but let's, you know, sometimes as you vodka style, hell yeah, Rob McCormick. Look at this. I got one right here. I'm ready to go. You can't see it. There it is. I keep right in my hoodie. Right in my hoodie. Ready to fire. Right at the holster, baby. I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I ride. Anyways, listen. As it relates to Toronto, I wonder if this team's just perpetually fucked. You know, it was cute for a while talking about how they haven't made the playoffs or they haven't won playoff games and blah, 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 blah. Here's the problem. First of all, everything in Canada's way the fuck overpriced. If you don't know, if you guys are in like the lower half of the United States and you've never been, dude, shit is ridiculous. Like, give you a scope. Now, I'm not a beer drinker as we talk about vodka, but I'll tell you this. You go to buy a case of beer, and Canadians can validate this for me, our Canadian brethren in the chat, at least as it relates to Toronto and, you know, the Ontario province. Case of beer is about $50. Think about that. You could buy a case of Coors Light for like $12.99, right? It's $50 up there. So the scale is fucked to begin with. Second, and that's probably how they afford free healthcare. But that being the case, Nasty Nate, the cost to go to a Toronto game, Spenny and I talked about this plenty of times. They'll drive from Toronto to Buffalo because they can see a game in Buffalo for like 75 American dollars, where it cost them 400 in Toronto. Now, I know it's Canadian dollars, but that still translates to like 325 American dollars. So my point is this: corporate sponsorships, giveaways, expensive tickets. You're driving the drunken, rowdy fan away. So what kind of home ice advantage do you have? It's all about the Benjamins, baby. But I still like Toronto in this game here. I told you guys, for me, the Ducks are a sub 5. If anything, they're great at home, but they're sub 500 on the road. And, they're in kind of that win one, lose one format right now, which is what I expect, because we also talked about the 60 game mark. And when these NHL teams cross the 60 game mark and you've got a lot of younger players on your team, they've never played this much hockey in their life. I mean, arguably you play like a junior hockey team and then you get like a summer team and then you get like a spring team. There's a lot of other hockey to be played, but you're not 82 games deep in a season. You're playing a 60 game season in the Q. The OMJH, any of them, it doesn't matter. The OHL, college hockey, the rest, right? So I expected, excuse me, I expect the Ducks team to start getting tired in this case. I expect a Toronto team. I'm not going to back off of my position. It doesn't mean I'm not going to reevaluate the position here, but the Toronto Maple Leafs at a pick'em at home midweek favored teams against rested non-playoff squads the prior year are producing at a 63% rate. And I want to get involved. So I'm going to take the Toronto Maple Leafs with a little theorem around why I think this team is kind of fucked right now. Like they're missing that home team buzz. Robert McCormick says, how much is a pint at a bar? Dude, I drink vodka. I try not to go to Canada too often, only because of the cost factors, unless I'm going to my buddy's place, which is off the grid. So, gosh, I don't know, but yeah, you go to the beer store. Labatt Blue was what my beer of fancy when I go north of the border, and it was like 52 or 52. That same Labatt Blue, you could buy a 30 pack here at the gas station for like $16. So they just priced themselves out of business, and I think that's affecting their home ice advantage. I just don't know how much that team cares about winning right now, but I'll tell you a team that should care about winning are these Edmonton Oilers, and they're playing the Dallas Stars as they roll in. Dallas, post-Olympic break, has maybe found themselves in a little bit of the struggle bus position here. Look, the Oilers are going to start Tristan Jarry. That's their big acquisition that they got from the Pittsburgh Penguins. He did get hurt after they brought him over, so he doesn't have a ton of reps under his belt. He's 15-8-2. The Dallas Stars will go to Jake Ottinger. He was the backup through the Olympic break. Did have a nice 2-1 win over Vegas the other day, and he stopped 26 of 27 shots. So, look, Stars are on fire. They're 9-0-1 in their last 10. I don't want to fade these boys. In fact, they're 12-0-1 over 13. And so, Jarry, a bad penny's a bad penny. It don't matter where that penny's found. He's given up 4 or more goals in 5 straight games. They're not winning. I don't want to get in the way of the Edmonton Oilers overstreak. And if anything, we're actually getting the Oilers overstreak at a price, at a special discount, because they did just have that game that did not go over the total. I believe it was 4-2 final, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. I guess it was 4-2 against Vegas. It was 4-2 against Vegas. They had ripped off like 13 straight overs. They go to the under at a Vegas squad, which we know what happens in Vegas. Vegas kind of first period gets a little loose, so they tighten up defensively throughout the game because their goaltending sucks. But that game stayed under. They did have they pushed. That Colorado game went to a 7. So I think we've got kind of back-to-back opportunities here where they just kind of underperformed. And because of that, we're catching a minus 120 price tag. So that's the way I want to get after it. Stop Geo says, pimp slap POD. Mikey, just seen a clip. Some dummy went hog wild on one of his hotel fridges out in Vegas. Big no, 500 plus in Fiji waters and soda. $25 Fiji water adds up great. And they're all on a fucking sensor, right? So even if you just move the thing from the left side of the shelf to the right side of the shelf, it's dinging that you're due. My best experience with the hotel bar or with the hotel mini bar, I ended up going on a business trip out to Paris. I might have told you guys the story before, but I went on a business trip out to Paris. And, I was out there for like six, I can't remember if it was 6 or 7 days. Doesn't matter. But there's some crazy shit that goes on in Paris. And, the colors of the lights. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can read between the lines. Pink bars. We talked about all this before. And so, anyhow, I took some time because jet lag, of course. Ordered some room service. I may have had some fun one night. Who knew the shit that they put? It's bizarre what they put in a Paris mini bar. But in any event, it was definitely expensive. And dude, I went to check out. They said it was $0. I remember thinking, how the fuck could it be $0? At the very least, I had room service like 5 days in a row. Not to mention the booze and the toys and extravaganzas that were presented to themselves in the mini bar. And I'm not talking stuffed animals. And it was $0. I was like, all right, let me get the fuck out of here. Here's my company credit card. Thanks. Peace. Anyways, I digress as I tell a quick little detour, but let's go to some college hoops. Let's talk some Northwestern and Purdue. Man, you know, we don't spend a lot of time looking at cash flow splits and I'll talk about them every so often when it comes to the NHL, but not so much when it comes to, you know, college basketball and I'm sorry, not so much in the NHL, but very much when it comes to this other sports. I do want to get correlated movement, or I do want to at least get an indication of what's going on out here. So, you know, we got a Big Ten battle. What's going on with my I told you guys the internet was askewed today. So and all my browsers, of course. Of course. Let's see what we got here. I mean, I could informally rip down the card here, but I think this is 6:30 start, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. 6:30, 10.5 points, 62% of the bets, 57% of the cash. There's some crazy lines out there. I mean, we're seeing 13.5s now. This is where I was telling you guys about Kalshi the other day. If you don't have a Kalshi account, we are doing some future. I fucking crushed Kalshi between golf and college basketball today. Their numbers are, 3 points difference. 10.5. I should get a promotional Kalshi account here for the Sports Money Squad because look, if you like Purdue, it's 10.5. Now it's juiced. It's minus 138. But that's the way it's been all day long. Dude, the St. Bonaventure game today, oh man, there's just so, and then on top of that, by the way, hint, tip, they don't allow you to bet on these quote unquote legal books. When it comes to in-college state betting, like New York won't let me bet on St. Bonaventure. Kalshi will. Kalshi don't give a fuck. And then Kalshi's giving me a better number. So you got to shop around and definitely want to have this kind of trick up your sleeve. You know, Purdue comes off a loss. They lost to Wisconsin. I like this Wisconsin team. I mean, it's a high-scoring affair, and so be it. Northwestern, look, they got a tune-up game against Penn State. They busted up Indiana yesterday. I told you guys they were going to bust them up, or at least cover. In all fairness, I didn't say that, but here's the deal. I'm going back to Northwestern. The public has compromised this line. 14 points is too many. Purdue, their last 15 Big Ten tournament games. They are 9-6. It's not like we saw the other day yesterday where Northwestern won like 6 money lines in a row against Indiana. It's not like that. Just full disclosure. But they are 1-14 ATS in the last 15 Big Ten tournament games. So it opened at 10.5 and you're catching 13.5s right now. That's where I want to play. That's where my money's going to lay. And the fact that it's moved 3 points that's 2 buckets to me. That's 2 more buckets from where Vegas put this initial number. So I like it. I'm engaged in it. Now, if you do want to get the Purdue side of things, I definitely recommend you get involved in Kalshi. Go out there, fire around. What do you guys say here? Try to keep a brisk pace, you guys. I told you some challenges, if you will, with the internet today, but I'm going to move on. Let's take a stroll into the next window. That is Florida State and Duke. Duke line opened at 19.5. It's moved to 16.5. Cash Florida State yesterday. Matter of fact, this sharp respected betting report came in and they liked Florida State. I like Duke. I mean, I don't like Duke. You guys know my story. I told you Duke and UNC. I care less about these teams, but I don't think that Florida State's equipped to play. This is the top half, top third, top quarter of the division, the conference here, and I don't think Florida State's equipped to battle these boys. It's cute. Now, you could argue, does Duke have anything to play for? And in fact, Florida State lost to Duke 91-87 earlier this season. So, my initial feeling was this number was just too wide. But I don't want to get in the way of Duke. I mean, I think Duke's a Final Four team, and we'll probably see him playing for the championship when it's all said and done. But doesn't mean I want to get involved in the Duke business here. So I had to figure out a creative way to try to attack it. I looked at the total. I'm looking at the under. I'm laughing about the under because you guys know that I have had I just mentioned I had a difficult front today. They are 3-2 in their last 5 games to the under. Now, they're 10-21 to the under overall. I have to go back to strategy. From a Duke perspective, if the books are telling you Duke is going to take their belt off and paddle these bottoms, well, I got to give it some credence. And if that's the case, it's their pace, it's their style that will dictate this game. I mean, 29-2, they've beaten everybody up that's in their way. 22 of the wins by double digits. Certainly their offense is a top 5 juggernaut. I just think what happens here is Florida State's playing catch up the entire game. Look, hell of a story for Florida State. They'll be a bubble team with some recognition. There's a lot to play for. And that's why I think Florida State is a tricky little dog. They're not going to win outright. Stop it. But they started the year off 0-5. So to roll 10-3 since then, to me is like, hey, man, you guys figured your shit out. You got it going here. But I just think this number indicates that the under is the spot that we want to be involved with. I mean, what are you going to do? It's dog or pass. But you get some, look at this. This is another situation. 150.5 across every book. Except Kalshi, because they got a 152.5. So, look, we might have to start taking these guys just a little bit more serious here because, again, if you're looking for me, the unders come down to that stupid basket at the end. This line opened at 153.5. It's moved to 150.5. And now we're sporting a 152.5 at Kalshi. So that's where I played the action. That is my sole Kalshi bet this evening was the 152.5. I wanted that extra basket. Just because of free throws and fouls. And so part of this is to share with you guys kind of how I arrived at the number, but also where to get that number because these guys are just slow in moving them. And maybe it's because they're kind of federally regulated. Maybe the process for them to move the numbers means a little bit more. Maybe it just changes a little. I don't know, but I doubled the Kalshi bankroll today. So I'm going to go back to them with these guys here. Pachico Ticalo, what's up, dude? Where the fuck have you been, my friend? It's good to see you back here. 3405. We're going to get into a little Florida Atlantic, N.Texas action, you guys. Look, I shared some strategy with you guys around Florida Atlantic and why they were not to play last year. They were BDs, walking around campus saying, look at us, because 2 years ago, that conference tournament run they had was legendary, to say the least. Recruiting dollars. Donors, you got boosters coming out of the woodwork talking about how great you are. You start buying into it. Now, the thing about Florida Atlantic is they played that game against Temple, and they had recently played Temple. It was a tight game in both accounts, but they won them both. So I got to respect it. Now, I know Temple sucks. We get that, but they did lose by double digits to Wichita State, but these guys are a bottom half of this league. Flip side, N.Texas. What do we know about N.Texas? They like their unders. They average around 60 some odd points a game. I can't get in on there, though. Listen, I know it opened as a pick'em and it's moved slightly against Florida Atlantic, but if these two teams are a coin flip, just hear me out. Here's my rationale. If these two teams are a coin flip, as the number suggests, if anything, now you're getting a basket in your back pocket with Florida Atlantic. Don't you want the team that's had an influx of dollars to their organization? And where does that come from? Because 2 years ago, this program goes, Sweet 16ing, rolling through the tournament. Everybody's an Owls fan at that point. Big win yesterday. It's tough to beat the same team twice, especially over a week and a half period of time. I think it's their time. They're a 17-13 ATS squad. N.Texas likes to play a lower, slower paced game. But where they get in trouble is when they are on the road. So I do like a lower scoring game in this case. I know the numbers moved against them, and generally we kind of look at that as a red flag here, but it's a smaller ticket count game as well. So maybe some sharp respect and information coming in, not the SRB report, but I'm not fading the Owls. I'm not doing it at this point. This is one of them teams that's just been too good to us. Let's go. Pachico de Gales has just got back from a 3-week trip. Strong lean to the 6 p.m. Eastern time is what Drew Scalosa is looking for out there. Let me give you guys some player props. Let me rapid fire a couple player props for you guys here because I told you I would do it. What the fuck? Let's start off with Toronto. Let's go to Maselli. Tony Maselli. No, it's not. His name's not Tony. I'm just kidding. By the way, if you guys haven't done so already, do follow me at Winnable. Free plays, premium plays. Gave out a live play on Bowling Green today, and that got there for us, plus 2.5. They lost by 1. Big winner, so I will shout that out. Michelli, to get a point for Michelli. Now, I told you about this dude. He's finding the back of the net. And that's obviously the most important thing when it comes to production and scoring. And he's like 400. He's plus 400 to score a goal tonight. So I like it. I like the gamble. I like the risk associated with it, but I want to try to give you guys something that I believe is in the stars and the planets' ability to cash for us. That spot happens to be Anytime Point. He's plus 126. Now, some of you guys might be big game hunters, as I am. I'm a big game hunter. But I also think you have to look at this differently. I told you guys about the difference of a bankroll and live betting versus the pregame betting, right? Also player prop betting, because you can really find several player props that can bang a rang, right? So like, I'm going to give you a double that's like 1,400, 14 to 1. You have to decide. At 14 to 1, typically when they go over 10 to 1, I put them to win a unit. So if I'm a $100 bettor, I need to put down like what? $7. So that's the case. Consider it a separate process. And I'm always happy to talk to my Winnable guys about bankroll management here. But, listen, Maselli, point, production. This guy finds himself kind of an interesting spot. He's on the third line, right? But he's just effective. He's efficient. Now, there's other guys I like William Nylander. This guy's been producing galore for us, but I'm picking this guy particularly because he's been a first goal scorer. I think he had like 3 games in a row. He was the first goal scorer. He's also on the second power play line as a defender, which is important because I've talked about the funnel system. Special team units like to funnel the puck back to a defender to quarterback it while they get the other guys in position. And so you're running the fourth offensive guy as a defenseman out there to be that kind of quarterback position. I like him to get a point. I think that's a good looking spot out there as well. But I like that. I like Maselli at a point at plus 126. Let's see if I got a couple more in the NHL for you guys here. I do. Let's go to Tage Thompson, Buffalo Sabre extraordinaire out there, plays on the power play unit as well. Looking to get his 211th all-time goal. Thompson can get his 35th goal on the year. And I think tonight he does. It's a question. It's not questionable price tag. I mean, he's plus 125. He's priced at the point where he should score a goal. In a Capitals game where they are the big favorite, I don't think we find this being a lower scoring game. The Sabres have been flooding teams when they go out there and pump. And pump and dump, I believe they do out there. I like me some Rage Thompson coming off that hot Olympic run. This guy's feeling pretty good about himself, and it's a good opportunity against. We saw the Sabres just put up four points on these guys, and this line's getting steamed. It was plus 125. We're seeing plus 110s, plus 105s out there. So give me some Tage, the Rage Thompson, as a goal. I want to give you guys one more. I want to give you one more. Yeah, what the hell? You guys want to get involved in... I'll go back to it. I'll go back to that Toronto game here. Look at Nylander. I just talked to you guys about Nylander. Look at this guy. I suspect that we see some scoring in this game. And I think Nylander, first unit, first offense, I think he goes out there and he's productive. So I like Nylander not to be the scoring guy tonight because I told you about Maselli. Look at his points. Over 1.5 points for Nylander is plus 170. I like that spot quite a bit from a player prop segment there. But that's the NHL. I got one more for you guys in the NBA. What do you say? This is the big gun. This is the big daddy. We cash one of these. We're in business. Something Nasty Nate says Norfolk State first half. Robert McCormick says the end of that game was nuts. I was on the plus 1.5 pre-flop, so that missed. Yeah, dude. I was afraid that they would get to the position where they tied it up and went to overtime, and then it just got blown away. So Nasty likes Purdue in the first half. All right, let me give you a double-double. I told you I'd give you a double-double. Roll on in and go to campaign. You got this Pistons game popping off out there. Let's see what his official number is here. Again, these player props come from a tool that I have purchased and filtered. And I mean, there's a bunch of them that get laid down there and then they stack rank them for me. And then I try to go back and validate them across the process to see if they do make sense or not. And I mean, listen, you don't have to twist my arm too much to get me out there in a 1,400 situation. So the Sixers and the Pistons, why I like this play especially is because there's a lot of forecast for a big game, a big scoring game. And the obvious should be looking at Duran to go out there and fire. But, of course, they're going to fuck me on this. Hang on. Everything's resetting. I told you guys, this is the challenge that we have with technology. Sorry, hang on. Just bear with me. Uno momento, por favor. I will load up. I'm going to be absent of shopping because they are working on line changes here, but I should be able to pull it up from DraftKings. We'll just use this number as the official. The Pistons, 14.5 point home favorites. One double-double on the year is Cameron Payne. He's plus 1240 now, so he is steaming down from the 1360 I got him earlier. 1240 double-double. Again, 4 player props, all plus money. Think about how you want to have to get after it there, but that be the way that we're going to do it in the player prop segment. Let's go to the Nuggets. The Nuggets and the Spurs. Keep this thing moving. Keep her rolling. Appreciate everybody being here. Make sure you smash that thumbs up if you haven't done so already. If you're checking us out on the replay, I love you guys leaving the comments. I check them all out. I get notification right to my phone when you guys leave a comment. I get to see them. I try to respond pretty quickly, unless I'm, eating dinner, whatever. That being the case, though, love seeing the comments. Appreciate all you guys that do leave those after the show. You know the deal. It's all about trying to get paid together. And dogs on a back-to-back on the road have been profitable in the NBA. They are 10-2. Some guys will look at this game and say it's a trappy little spot. Why are the Nuggets getting 6? I say I don't care. Your rival's on a streak, you cash. The Nuggets, unique spot. We look at player props. We look at trends, that is, and we try to look at trends as a league-wide, team-specific, or player and coaching factors. Coaching more for college, players more for the NBA. 56% of the bets, 54% of the cash have come in on the Nuggets. They are playing the upcoming NBA champions in the Spurs. I gave you guys this NBA Spurs champion 35-1. It opened at 60-1. It was 35-1 after they lost the NBA championship. They're now 6-1, even 5.5-1 on some books. So prognosticate, yes. We're not going to read the newspaper and find out 3 months from now that the Spurs won the championship without having a shot that we made some plays on this thing here. But Wembyana and company aside here, 20 straight wins. In fact, 20-0 over the last 3 seasons. 3 seasons, 20 straight times. You put the Nuggets in a large dog role against an unrested opponent off a win, and you continue to cash. That's exactly what happened here. We saw the Spurs. Matter of fact, 4 of their last 5, they just beat Boston. Nuggets unrested. Spurs coming in here off that big game. Nuggets take care of business. And I got a 6.5. Here's our friends at Kalshi. 7.5, boys. 7.5. That's a 3-point move. If you want to get involved in the Nuggets business, the Nuggets smash. Big Crypto likes the Denver Nuggets today also. Peter Grassi says Nuggets price dropping, getting hammered down, plus 4.5 on DraftKings. Nasty Nate's cash 6 first halves, he says. I wish I'd have seen those, Nasty Nate. All right, you guys, the Celtics and Thunder game will be the last spot on the card. I'll review the sharp respected betting information, and we will get ourselves onto the evening's action. Look, Celtics smash, Nasty Nate. That's the way it goes. 54% of the bets, 55% of the cash on the Celtics. They're at 7.5. Celtics in a bounce back spot. We've talked about how great they are in those positions. They continue to dominate. In fact, Celtics, since January 1st on a 2-game losing streak, are a perfect 10-0. I'm trying to bring you guys some qualitative information, not just some artificial fluff about this player's shooting percentage, but I think this is a really great spot here. Yes, the OKC Thunder should probably, battle San Antonio down the run for Western Conference supremacy. They're not covering, though. They beat Denver, no cover. They beat Golden State, no cover. They beat the Knicks, no cover. They beat the Bulls, no cover. They beat the Dallas Mavericks, the shittiest Mavericks in the world. Even though they won by 13, they still didn't cover. And the Celtics had back-to-back covers. Blew it against the defending NBA, upcoming defending NBA. It's getting confusing. The defending upcoming NBA champion San Antonio Spurs. They lost to them. They were 3.5-point dogs. They were on the road, but that kind of tells you what they're thinking about Boston Celtics in this position. So I'm going to take the Celtics to bounce back. I think it's a terrific opportunity. Wouldn't be surprised to see them boys win outright, but listen, off a loss, they've cashed 4 in a row, 7-3. I told you in the back-to-back loss situation, they are a perfect 10-0 on the season. And as a dog against a strong interconference team, winning games, they play, they show up, they don't rest out. They're 12-1. They've cashed 8 straight. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Look for Boston to make some noise here this evening. Nasty Nate says no 6s anymore. Kalshi, Nasty Nate. You're not in the Kalshi business? I just talked to you boys about this. Let me look. Let me make sure that my We're going to get to the sharp respected betting report in a momento. 7.5 is the number right now you can get for the Boston Celtics. 7.5 Boston Celtics. So anyhow, do what you will with that information. I don't care what the number is. Drew Skills says Kalshi is the new spot. I mean, they offer some new options. It depends on who you like, but it's definitely another weapon in the bag. And we are only as sharp as the tip of the spear is, boys. So we want to make sure that we stay on that. Let's go. Let's talk some sharp, respected betting. I told you guys they swept the college basketball spot there. They went 1-1 in the NBA, I believe, were the numbers last night. Tonight, we've got some information coming across the board here. Let's see. Some of these games have started already. Kent State, Ohio. I'm not sure. I don't think that one started yet. Under 158.5. Also, La Tech, Middle Tennessee. They got the under 131.5. Cal Tech, Middle Tennessee, La Tech, Middle Tennessee, excuse me. Also, they like Ohio plus 3.5 over Kent. I have a feeling that game might have already started. Sorry if it has. NBA wise, some spots that they like tonight. I told you guys last night, the Nuggets cashed, the Sacramento Kings under cashed. San Antonio Spurs minus 4.5, sharp respective betting action. The OKC Thunder, the Boston Celtics, the under 216.5, sharp respected betting. Have not seen anything yet in the NHL, but that will put a bow on the show. We got to go get paid, you guys. Appreciate everybody that was here this evening. Hopefully you enjoy the format. Hopefully you enjoy the information that we've got out there. Jordy Fuentes says, how does Kalshi work? Well, the way that it works is simply this. Go to kalshi.com. Go create an account. When you create that account, you'll fund it. You can fund it through PayPal. I don't know. There's a couple different ways to fund it. I don't think you can fund it directly. Then you go in, and once you've funded your account, go into, I mean, listen, some guys are using it to trade politics, futures, culture. Maybe we'll get into some of that down the road. I've been using it specifically for futures, but also some lines that get off. In other words, the lines that are off are when you look at it and you take a college basketball game and you say, Akron. Do you want is Akron going to win minus 6.5? And it'll show you the yes versus no pricing, even live numbers. So probably more astute to the pre-flop betting. But look, I talked about that La Tech Middle Tennessee. The number that the sharps were posting was 133.5. So it is correlated to Kalshi, but the under 132.5, the yes, catching a little juice. And the best part about Kalshi from a future betting perspective here, not that I'm a Kalshi commercial, but they're paying interest on the money that they're holding for you. So it's not like putting a future bet in there where you're like, this is where I never understood it. Like, will the St. Louis Cardinals win over 85 games this season? Yes is minus 110. Dude, that money's going to sit there for 7 months before you get paid for it. And you're not gaining any interest on it. So you just, I mean, I guess you could argue you doubled your money, but you gambled and you won. So, in this case here, they're paying, I think it's 3.25% interest with all kinds of betting options galore. So check it out, you guys. Maybe I'll just reach out and see if I can get us a promo code for Sports Money, get you guys some bonus money if you haven't done it yet here, but we've been firing. We've been having a good time with it, and I've been having a good time with you guys. So appreciate you guys, man. The droves of viewers here today. Appreciate you. If you haven't checked us out already, subscribe to the Sports Money Network. Turn your notifications on so that when we go live, you don't miss the action. It's going to be a big Saturday UFC stream. I'm telling you already. Fight night is back, and it's only right that we get it done that night. So thank you guys on behalf of the Sports Money Network for being here. Good luck with your action this evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.